Hi, I'm Rachel Lynn, and today we are going to go over my March budget. I am closing out March, and April has begun, and so we are going over how I did in my budget and on my spending in March. So if you are unfamiliar, I am documenting my journey getting out of debt and actually building wealth and living a more financially secure life. This is my March 2021 budget, how I did in March. I actually closed on my house on December 1st of 2020. This is the second month, I do believe, that I've had to pay a mortgage. I am finally getting used to like when certain bills are due. Anyway, if you are not already subscribed and you want to join me on my journey, watch me pay down my house, eventually turn this house into a rental, and buy another house. This is future plans going on here. Finish paying off my student loans, all of that good stuff. Then go ahead, click that red subscribe button, join me on this journey. I want to be financially secure, and as a teacher making very little money, I have not always felt that way, but through budgeting and taking better care of my finances, I have come so far in such a short time. And I want to be here to help you, and then I want you to be here along the ride. So without further ado, let's get into my budget and see how I did for the month of March. So here we are in the budget, and I'm going to start out here. I've got Netflix. So Netflix is actually, I put this in the budget twice this month because it's actually paid at the very end of the month. And usually I put it on the next month, but it cleared the credit card before I paid it off. I just decided to go ahead and pay this bill twice. It's fine. And so either I will not have a Netflix bill next month, or I'll put it at the end of the month again, like I did this month. So this section here is my known allocations, and this is where I know pretty much exactly what the total is going to be. It's also like bills like water and trash. Well, trash is always the same, but like water and electricity, I don't always know what those bills are going to be, but I do put them in this category because I know that I'm going to have that bill. I just don't know exactly how much it's going to be, and it's harder to control these bills than it is spending money. Yeah, I can turn the lights off more and I can use less water and all that good stuff, but there's still a certain amount that's going to be billed to me. So all of that goes into this category. So first of all, there is church. I give $150 to my church each month. My savings, this is just like if I use my emergency fund, that's what that is, and I don't really put anything in my savings unless I use my emergency fund, which I guess I technically have never used my emergency fund because I'm always shuffling money around. Things are different now, though. I was living at home. I was putting $1,000 a month at minimum towards my debt each month, and that doesn't even include my minimum payments. So I guess things are different now because I do have a house. Next up is my mortgage, and I pay $878.84. That does include PMI. There's about $70 worth of PMI. Next up is my Nelnet undergrad. This is my undergraduate degree, so my dad is helping me out with this. He pays me in cash, and then that goes into a separate bank account, so it doesn't really go through my budget. But I do have the minimum payment is $77.58. They are still taking that payment. This is on income-based repayment as well, but they still take that payment. I have the minimum payment go into that other account each month, no matter what, just in case I don't get money to the bank in time, just in case my dad doesn't pay me in time. I just want a safety net, and so I do keep this in my budget. Next up is my graduate loan payment. This is 100% completely on me. My parents, when I entered college, they promised to pay for college. But then when I wanted to go to grad school, they said that was 100% completely on you. So we're not helping you with that. And so that is the minimum payment on that actually right now is $0. But I put all of that into another account, just like my undergrad. It's in a separate account. And this one gets paid, it just automatically transfers into that account. Every couple months or so, I go in and make a big payment. This is extra payment on debts, or rather putting money towards house updates and repairs that I might need. I will go over at the very end and let you know how much that is. So that's going to be a surprise. So you'll have to watch to the end to find out how much I was able to put into that sinking fund for house updates. And the big update that I am saving for right now is new windows. That will help me save money on energy costs in the winter with my gas, and then in the summer with my electricity and air conditioning. Plus, it will also increase the value of the house, which will help me. I do have a video planned about like how that would work, like how putting money into your house can actually help you technically sort of pay it off faster, at least percentage wise. And so that's what I'm saving for right now. But you'll see in this video, there's also some things that I've been paying for that are not so cost effective. It's just like a few updates to make me feel better and just live happier. So anyway, you'll have to wait until the end to see just how much I was able to put into that sinking fund. Speaking of sinking funds, the next line item is $250. That is my regular input into all of the different sinking funds that I have. I will actually go over those later on in this video, let you know how much money I have and where it is. Next up is my subscriptions, and I had a total of $38.93. This 3-1, that was Netflix because it was actually at the end of the month and I just fudged it and said 3-1. But then again on 3/29, so that's why it ended up where it ended up. And then these other ones are, I'm not sure what order they're in, but they are Apple Storage and Amazon Prime, and then HP Instant Ink. So those are all of my subscriptions that I have. My electricity and gas was $131.92. Considering how much my electricity costs were the first couple months I was living here, this is actually way lower. So I'm really, really excited that it was much, much lower. And I'm hoping that now that I'm not using heat as much, that will be way lower as well. Water, my water bill was $75. It was actually a lot more than that from like the month before or whatnot. Anyway, I paid a whole bunch the month before because my water bill was insanely high. When I moved in, I did like all of the dishes that had been sitting in my parents' basement for 3 years and running them through the dishwasher. I did all of the laundry, washing all of the blankets that I had, like couch blankets and all of my linens and everything, because they had been sitting in the basement or garage for the last 3 years. So I did so much laundry and so many dishes when I first moved in. And so I'm hoping that my water bill settles down. Next up is internet. That is $54.99. Thankfully, that does not change from month to month. And then my trash bill was also due in the month of March, and March is just one of those months where my water and trash bill are both due. I think it's like March and September. Those are the 2 months that they're both due. Trash bill, $60 for 3 months. Verizon, that is pretty typical, $52.74. It fluctuates. A couple pennies. Next up is gasoline. So I purchased gasoline on the 3rd for $22.91 at IGA, and then again on the 19th for $23.82. Next up is my groceries allocation. I will leave a link to the playlist below, but I did a month-long grocery challenge to spend no more than $10 a week on groceries, and I knocked it out of the park. I was actually a little upset in my final video about it not being very hard. Like, I really wanted a challenge, and it was not a challenge. It was just like super easy. So I only spent $28.45 on groceries for the whole month. Next up is my teaching allocation. I allow myself about $25 a month to spend on school related items. I went over budget because I had forgot that I spent $34 at the beginning of the month. And then when I went to purchase books on Scholastic, I was like, oh, I can spend $15 to like, because when you spend so much, like including parent purchases, when you spend a certain amount, then you get book credits for free books. And of course, it's all to get you to spend more money. But, if parents place orders and I only need like $10 or $15 more to reach that next threshold, then I'll go ahead and do that because that gets me like a ton more books, a ton more points to use on books and other supplies. And so sometimes I'll do that. And I did that this month because I've forgotten that I had spent $34 at the beginning of the month. I was purchasing a book that I wanted to read to my students, and I ended up getting 2 copies of it because it's a book that I absolutely love and wanted my own copy. And then there was like this teacher's edition copy, which turned out to be the exact same thing. Anyway, I didn't need to purchase them both, but whatever. I guess like this $34, like half of that could really go into spending because I kind of bought it for myself to have here at home, but then I also bought a copy to have at school. So anyway, I mean, I wouldn't have made that purchase if I wasn't reading this book to my students, but you need to keep an eye on your budget. Like, don't just set your budget at the beginning of the month and then forget about it. Like, keep an eye on it because this is how you end up going over budget because you're not paying attention. I went over budget by $24.90. I stayed way under budget in other categories, so I'm not going to feel bad about it. It just kind of, that happens sometimes. Next up is my spending allocation. This is why I don't feel bad about going over budget $24. That's because I spent nothing. Then there is my restaurant budget, which I accidentally went over, but it was only 18 cents, so I don't really feel too bad about that. So I went to Chick-fil-A, I spent $1.86. I went to Panera and spent $13.32. I was going out with a friend. And then I went back to Chick-fil-A again on the 22nd and spent $25. That is not how much I actually spent. Normally I like put, because I use the Chick-fil-A app, because I earn a lot of free food through the app, which is actually how the one that's $1.86, that's how that happened. I actually purchased a whole meal. I got fries, I got a sandwich, and then I paid for the sweet tea, and that was it. However, I normally place my order in the app while I'm sitting in the drive-thru. Well, it was kind of like a last-minute decision to go to Chick-fil-A, and so like I didn't use the app to like place the order. And when you use the app to place the order, then you can have it linked, and I have it linked to my PayPal, and so it just like pays whatever I owe, like this first one, $1.86. Well, because I was at the window and then they'd already I'd placed my order with the person and then they scanned the app so that I could get the point credit, like I could pay through that. But the only way to do that was to put a whole lump sum onto my account in the app. So because I did things differently, then I paid for a meal and it cost $25 when it should have just been like $10. So anyway, I accidentally spent $25. And after I did that, I was so worried that I was going to be way over budget in restaurants. But when I put it in and it was like $25, I was like, oh my gosh, 18 cents over. That's not really being over. That is amazing. No more eating out. And so I'm glad I put it in my budget when I did because I was able to stop. There was a couple times where I'm like, I really want to eat out. I want to go to this place and I don't feel like cooking. And no, I fought it out the last few days of the month, waited it out, and I was strong and made it through. And now I can say I was only 18 cents over, which I don't really consider being over at all. It's like, this is amazing. And then the last main category is my household allocation. This is new this month. I used to keep my groceries and my household together. I had $300 a month for both. But then when I was still overspending, I decided to do the grocery challenge. And then I also split up my groceries and household. So household items are things that you have to buy regularly, like soap, shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, dish detergent, toilet paper. These are things that you have to buy for the house regularly. So it does not include decorative items. If I were to buy that kind of stuff, that would actually come from spending, not household. So anyway, I wasn't sure how much I was going to need because I mean, I'm still sort of establishing my house. Like after this month of March, like I feel pretty established. So I don't really feel like I feel like I'm now in the point where things are just normal. Things are just regular now that I've gotten past all those like initial shocks of bills and not knowing when things are due and you know, setting up a whole new pantry like from scratch. Like I had nothing in my pantry. And then, you know, even like cleaning supplies and stuff. So all of that is in the household budget. So I did not need to buy any of that this month. I wasn't sure what it was going to cost. So I just put like $100 in there. Didn't use any of it. All right, let's go into the scary section next, otherwise known as my sinking funds and how much I blew in my sinking funds. All right, I don't want to say that I blew my sinking funds, but like, man, I was tearing it up this month. So this is just half of it. Can't even see the other half right now. All right, here's the thing. I'm editing this video and just the sinking funds alone, it's taking way too long. This video is long enough as it is. So I'm going to cut this really short. I'm not going to go over my sinking funds. There's just so much involved. And then also with added income and stuff, which you'll see in just a moment here. So there's a lot more to the sinking funds, money going in and out. So I'm going to do a whole nother video just on sinking funds coming soon, so stay tuned for that. Okay, I almost completely forgot to go over my income for the month, so let's do that. Paycheck. I am paid at the very end of the month, and I consider that as the first paycheck of the month, and so I was paid $1,105.84, and then of course I get the same paycheck in the middle of the month for the same amount. And then I also got my stimulus check for $1,400, and that was a total income of $3,611.68. I did a video all about what I'm doing with my stimulus check, and this whole thing is going to go into my sinking funds. So there's this plus some more, so you'll have to see what's going to happen. We'll go over the whole budget very quickly, and then I will show you just how much I am putting towards my house sinking fund and getting those new windows that I really not just want, but really need. Okay, so very quickly, I'm going to go over everything that I spent. Church, I was like right on target. Mortgage, right on target. Nelna undergrad, right on target. Navient, graduate loan, right on target. Sinking funds, right on target, which pretty much always is. Subscriptions, I was over $9.48, but I explained that at the beginning of this video. My electricity and gas bill was over budget by $31.92. But if you look at my general budget, $120, like I was really only over by like $11.92. It's just because I was hoping that it would be really low. And then my water bill was over by $35. I'm disappointed about that, but we'll see how the next couple water bill cycles go and see if this needs to be adjusted. Internet was pretty much right on target, and then trash right on target. Verizon was $1.26 less than expected. And gasoline, I had $3.27 extra. Groceries, I had $21.55 extra thanks to my grocery budget challenge. And then my household, I had $100 left, with the whole thing left because I didn't spend anything. And then teaching was over budget by $24.90. Spending, I had $60 left over, and then restaurants was 18 cents left over. And then of course I had received a total income of $3,611.68 this month, which is amazing, but that's just from the stimulus. It's not like I did anything extra. I just got some extra money. All right, so here is the reveal. Let's see how much I was able to put house sinking fund. Ta-da! $1,613.38 that I was able to put towards my sinking funds. But I think I noticed down here that I am $9.48 over budget there. So I think I need to take off $9.48 because I think I did this before I paid that extra Netflix bill, actually. So minus $9.48, like that. Let's do this again. I was able to put $1,603.90 towards my house sinking fund. So make sure that you stay tuned, that you are subscribed so that you don't miss my sinking funds video where I tell you everything that I spent from my sinking funds in the month of March, and then also where all of my sinking funds ended up after spending, and then also putting this $1,600 in there. Coming soon. So I'm not sure what happened to my goodbye, but thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.